Yeah. It's
Well, their eldest son was a driver.
And I was thinking,
That may be the third one.
Someone would be able to get up that hill. That would be
I never
Forgot,
completely forgot. You need to go to
Oh,
the
that's
in the morning.
Come back to Big Town,
Fantastic.
the heaving metropolis.
It does need to be done.
All right.
For Wednesday.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Do you fancy like starting? Right, okay. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Nice to see everyone back. Excited, full of enthusiasm. Right, shall we start off with the ever-lengthening fire safety evacuation procedure and recording protocol?
Well, you asked for it.
The fire escapes can be found at both ends of the Hollies chamber. There is no fire alarm drill scheduled. On the sounding of an alarm, all personnel are to evacuate into the Hollies car park. The council, members of the... I remember reading this earlier, right? So that is that's the fire escape. Moving on to the recording protocol. The council, members of the public and the press may film, record, photograph for live and or subsequent broadcast this meeting only when the public and press are not lawfully excluded. Any member of the public who attends a meeting and objects to being filmed, recorded, photographed should advise the clerk in advance, who will instruct that they are not to be included in the filming, recording, photographing. Right, does anyone want to record the meeting?
Yes.
I too shall do an audio recording of the meeting. I'd like to play it back to the children to help them sleep. Right.
Give them nightmares.
Exactly. Item 1. Apologies for absence.
Just that Councillor Pugh was going to be late.
And I'm sure if Charlotte did forget to come, she would have apologised. Item 2. Do we have any declarations of interest? Item 3. Public session. Do we have any members of the public here?
Good evening.
Hi, Wendy.
Right, I'd like to say good evening to councillors and lady clerks, and I really wish that we have harmony and unity for Midsummer Norton in 2024, and particularly around this table, that you can bring it together. The reason I've come tonight, if you recall, going back many months ago, I talked about the removal of the pot-bellied style on Willowbrook Walk. Well, after guidance from Councillor Hughes, Jo has worked very hard and has established where it is, and it is going to be returned to Midsummer Norton. I'm sure she's probably advised you about this. And the suggestion in her note to me is for the councillors to decide where it's going to be sited. Now, as far as I'm concerned, and I hope you're in agreement, it needs to go back to where it was originally located, not in its precise position, because obviously we have a footpath and it's not ideal. But I think that's where it was for a long, long time in all my living history. So I think it would be very nice if it goes back to Willowbrook Walk, and it has, as I suggested at the time, appropriate signage talking about the history of the pot-bellied style and Evans Foundry. We have signage there at the moment talking about the flora and fauna, and because there is so much of our history been consigned to the scrap heap, it would be rather nice for the youngsters, because once my generation disappears, there would be no one to tell them about the history of the Evans Foundry in Paulton. I can't research very much about it. There doesn't seem to be very much on the internet, but the foundry existed in Paulton for 90 years. That much I have established, and the iron ore was brought up on the canals from South Wales. But they had a secret formula, which is in our railings here in Midsummer Norton, and there are still several pieces in the Thicket Mead location made of this material. So I think if the council agreed to it, it would be rather nice if a little note of history is put there for our coming generations.
Jolly good.
Thank you.
And then The other things I'll probably be able to just bring up with the clerks, but I will just mention that I'm going to talk to the clerks about the pedestrian entrance at West Clewes to Welton Rovers. For some unknown reason, there's no hardcore there, and so all the grass is just being churned up. But as I say, if that's the route to go, I will talk to the clerks about it. The maintenance of the riverbank at Willowbrook in Welton is in a pretty shoddy state. We have that lovely grass area with our little ducks waddling around, and the whole wall and bank is now completely shrouded. Welton isn't the most attractive place at the moment. If we can do anything to beautify it, that would be great. But as I say, I'll bring that up with the class. And I did mention it last winter, I'll mention it again. I know that the Willowbrook Walk is still an ongoing work in progress, but it is, a lot of the path is completely submerged in water again. I know it's exceptional circumstances, but if we are going to revisit and think about gravelling that again, we need about ducting the water away from that walk, because it's really not conducive going through there at the moment. And if I might just bring up a few more things, I'm sorry, I know I always have a shopping list. I thought this was so heartwarming to read about Westfield and the amount that they had chosen just to give small grants to a whole host of people to bring the community together. And in fact, one of the clubs I belong to, they have benefited from a £1,000 grant, which is absolutely exceptional. I really don't know how we deal with our grants in Midsummer Norton, but I rather gather there was quite a slug of money given to the music festival, I don't know its correct title, that was held in the cricket club this year. I'm not absolutely certain I'm in favour of such a large amount of money going to a concert that was extremely expensive for anybody to go into, whereas this, this is covering the community where everybody has had a little dip into the pocket, and I think that was exceptionally nice. And they had a wonderful evening, apparently. The chair lady of the club I belong to, she said it was just absolutely fantastic, and it really felt as if it was bringing the community together. So whatever we can do in Midsummer Norton to make the community feel that we are uniting, we're all getting a little bit out of the pocket, it would be, I think, would be very beneficial. And also I would like to just ask if anybody hasn't read Ian Knockol's, and I think that was in the 3rd of January edition, where he's talking about something that was implemented pre the pandemic and seems to have disappeared by the wayside. So if anybody's still got their journal from the 3rd, I thought that was a particularly interesting article. And again, it was trying to bring the community together. And obviously, the other thing out of there is we're talking about car parking charges again in Midsummer Norton. Does Baines not realise that we're trying to pull our town centre together and appeal to people to come to the town centre, and now we're going to charge them for the privilege of doing so. So I just hope that the council can do everything they can to make sure the charges aren't brought in until we get adequate footfall, different footfall, where we can at least then charge for car parking. So thank you for your time, councillors.
Thank you. Yes, of course.
As far as the river on the green in Welton, the developers for Welton Bagside are hoping to take that on once they've been able to start doing the site. And they will then be looking after that and keeping it tidy and everything.
Well, at the moment, I don't think we have a development plan.
No.
So by the time we get one, the grass will be covered up completely.
Yeah, well,
I can just see the riverbank being pulled over because it's almost like small shrubs on the side of the river, and obviously we've got all the overgrowth coming into that fabulous green area. It's about the only attractive part of Welton at the moment, and bit by bit that's all just being taken over with overgrown hedgerow. So I don't know who's responsible, whether that is Baines or otherwise, but
Later
I
this year,
think it needs
probably.
attention.
Sure,
very
I look
soon.
after the green, but I don't know whether they're responsible for the river or not. But
Right.
Well, we believe there may be plans by WECA to have that area improved.
Is it more like to see the Clarks and, you know,
Absolutely, I think the best way is to generally drop a line. I think it's great. The other thing I want to come back about, the money that was granted to the Outfield Festival, so half of that actually paid for people who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford to go to a festival like that to go for free. So I think something like 80 people were able to see the concert that didn't have to pay for it, which is pretty amazing. Of course, the other thing that Midsummer Norton did with our partners, the Community Trust, is put on the music festival, which was attended by over 3,000 people, which was pretty good at bringing the community together, enjoying our wonderful amphitheatre. And we saw huge numbers of people as well to the town fair, which was also a free event. So I like to think the council have provided quite a few events for the public to enjoy.
I'm not suggesting we haven't, but as I say, I've learned that quite a large slug of money went to the festival that we had in the cricket field.
Yeah.
And seeing as that's a very expensive admission that would preclude an awful lot of our residents from attending, even if they wanted to. And so I think rather than give a big slug to something that's going to be very costly and limiting, why not give £1,000 to some of the lesser community enterprises that are really struggling? And £1,000, as I say, the club that I belong to, really nobody could afford to put in their hands in their pockets to do the hard work that's got to be done up there.
Yeah.
So £1,000 was so beneficial, and it's, you know, for my age group, it's a bowls club, and you know we really do struggle for membership and you know money. So £1,000 to that club, and I'm sure every other one that has had it, has just been so beneficial, and it brings the community together. These are all ongoing weekly things that, you know, rather than a one-off festival. So this is what I'm saying. Just look long and hard how far you can stretch your money out with an organisation.
Well, obviously we're open to all grant applications.
Can I just
People put them forward.
jump in there? This was obviously agreed before we came on board. How much was given to the cricket club?
To the Outfield Festival, I think it was £3,000,
3,000.
which was split 50-50 between money towards the festival and paying for free tickets for people that wouldn't otherwise be able to afford the festival.
So £3,000 paid for 80 people to go for free, basically.
Yeah, and the rest obviously went towards sponsored the youth area.
I think that that's that's obviously going to be discussed for next year, or this year, is it?
So we're changing our grants policy, so it's going to be twice a year that we'll review the grants applications that come in, and I think that will allow you to have a broader kind of understanding of what the ask is rather than a monthly kind of grants application. So that'll be one thing. And also for the annual meeting, we're intending to invite all the people who have received a grant to come, tell us about what they've done, how it's benefited the community, give a bit of a presentation, and that's open to the public so that everyone can kind of understand where the money's gone and how it's been used.
The issue I have, the only issue I have with the Outfield Festival is, again, how much it costs for the public and
How much was it?
to go there, and we're granting them.
It's not profit making.
You sure?
Yeah, where's the rest of the money going now?
It's break even and to fund next year's event. They do it to hobbits.
To fund
Entities. So if there's surplus, it's to help upfront costs for next year's event.
But where does that money? Who's that for?
Spent
The
for
cricket
next
club?
event. No. It's like a group of hobbyists. Effectively, I'm quite good friends with all of them.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got their own.
They just love doing it, and they used to be inventing this in Norton, unless they got on the passion project and built it up from scratch. And I think that the funding, as I understood it, and I didn't mention anything because we'll find out when it comes to it. I think the titrated figures. It started with a certain amount, less and less. And it might be the next year it wasn't even intended we fund anything more, because the idea was, the whole idea of grants is that you start off with a point, and it's a 2 or 3 year programme, and you've got a project, you've got a plan, and over those 3 years you deliver on it to kind of increase your income, so it compensates for what you otherwise would get through grants.
So does that get paid to the cricket club then?
So there's actually a little fractious relationship between the cricket club committee and Outfield at the moment, because it's separate, and they use the site, and there's benefits in terms of, you know, the cricket club can open their bar and make money from that side of things, and then they run a separate bar for Outfield, but the actual dynamics of it is all very much separate entities, and really people just doing something that kind of adds something to the offer of the town independently. So
I do think one of the rationale was given that not a lot of nationally known touring bands currently visit Midsummer Norton, but Outfield, since it's been there, has hosted, you know, nationally known, internationally known bands, Scouting for Girls, bands like that. And the thing is, Midsummer Norton residents who can't afford to travel to Bristol or Cardiff or old places that these bands normally play, actually had an opportunity to see it in Midsummer Norton, which is quite rare and quite special. And I think that's why the council wanted to support them to start with, and that's been the situation until now. So.
Extremely family oriented as well.
Yeah.
It is, having been there every year and helped out and volunteered at it, it is, you know, it would be great to see more bands in the sort of like when I was growing up. I think this is where it comes from. The age group is like, I mean, like, we had a decent drum and bass act, didn't we, down at Christmas Eve? And back when I was growing up, there was an amazing music scene here, which doesn't really exist anymore.
I was thinking it's...
That's where it comes from. They want that to generate.
That's what it is.
So-
Public dialogue.
Yeah.
The question section.
Yeah, well, it's quite interesting. It's nice to hear the feedback on it.
Just one suggestion, Chair, because bearing in mind what you said, I mean, that actually did get quite a considerable amount of money, and normally the council, if you look at its accounts and you look at how it's going to budget, actually makes significant grants separately to various places like the Community Trust and so on. It then decides to have this amount for community grants. You could actually use those community grants and limit the amount per application, which would then cover, say, to £500 or £1,000, which would then address the smaller organisations and ensure a better distribution. And you take out these larger applicants and put them in as specific grants that they apply for, but that doesn't come out of that 20,000 or whatever that's been allocated for the smaller things. It's something to consider when you look at the grant policy again.
I think that's a really good
Our
idea.
budget is huge. It's a huge part of our spend as a council.
Is it? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Our grant budget's much smaller.
25%.
25%. Does that include, when you say grant budget, does that include money that we're effectively paying for services, or is that actually just grants that we hand over for services?
Grants and events at the moment.
Oh, sorry,
obviously.
grants and events. Okay, so it's not just grants then.
No, that's like the Christmas fair, the Easter fair. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's certain
So those are
things
fully.
separate.
When you say that, so those are fully. Excuse me. You answered the question, so I'll answer it. Those are fully itemised, so they're not really grants. So with Outfield, for instance, the money's handed over, and Outfield get to spend it as they like, and that is similar to other grants that we make. So, for instance, we recently gave a grant to Youth Connect South West. We give grants to other organisations. Those are grants. Things like the events, which you mentioned, are actually just costs, which are borne by the council, which the Community Trust then organises those events. The money doesn't go to the Community Trust to use as it wishes. It's literally itemised events. And Sean very diligently went through with all that stuff, I think, before Christmas. So it's not really a grant as such to the Community Trust. It's literally just paying for things like, for instance, at Christmas it was things like stilt walkers and streamers and things like that. So it's not a grant, that's really more like an expenditure on Christmas events, and it's quite distinct. Is that clear?
25% is our grant budget.
No, it's not a grant, because it's grant and events, as Kate said. It's grant and events.
Yeah, and it's grant funded by the town council. It's a,
I think that's your opinion, isn't it, Sean?
Yeah.
okay, that's my opinion. But I'm saying this is supposed to be the public speaking section, not a debate about whether we review the grant policy. We can put that on the agenda, can we not? If that's something that someone wants to do.
You want to amend the grants policy?
Well, I personally think the grant policy that we came up with is fine. But
We haven't given it a
everyone
chance
wants
to.
propose that.
We haven't given it a chance to do a year yet.
No. It'll be looked at in May at your annual accounts anyway.
I think you're right, Sean. We do spend a lot on grants. We devolve a lot of our services, and so we have to be careful how we do it. Is that fair enough? Right. 20 minutes in. Public session finished. We're all still friends. Right. Let's move on to item 4, confirming the previous minutes.
I know,
Every single page.
Just squiggle it. Come on.
Oh no. Hang on. Right. While I'm doing this.
It's every single page has to be done, just in case they get separated. So then
Yeah.
the deals with
I'm just saying we used to do it digitally.
no, minutes are always half.
No, we used to do it digitally. So it might be worth exploring if it's possible. Thank you. Item 5.
Yeah.
So we have a proposal to fill vacant positions on standing committees.
Yeah.
So we have vacant positions on the planning committee and Finance and Operations
And
Committee.
the staffing as well, sorry.
And the staffing, all right.
Yeah.
Right that in. So, I mean, would anybody like to volunteer to be on, shall we start with Finance and Ops?
So what's the current makeup of those two?
Four. There's 4 on your finance.
But who, sorry, who is on each of those
Oh,
currently?
it's you, Sean.
I'm on both, so I'm on finance, not planning, but I'm just trying to understand.
Well, it was. There was 5, and of course Gemma resigned,
And Mike's.
and Mike's on a hiatus at the moment.
Okay.
So Gemma was on finance at the start.
Do we have to propose people to be on them, or do they just volunteer?
No.
Yeah, they
Can
can
I-
volunteer and they need someone proposing.
I see. Would Cheryl like to be on Finance and Ops?
I'm happy to be on finance and ops.
I'll propose you then.
I'll second.
Excellent.
Does that give us the right
Can they
number?
vote? Can you get them to vote? Otherwise,
I can certainly ask for a show of hands if we agree with that.
I don't think you need to, do you?
Sure.
It's
well, you might object.
If there's an objection, yeah.
we're all town councillors. If any of us want to be on any of the committees, I think there's an option for us to be on them.
But it's nice to have a ringing endorsement.
I don't think we didn't vote on the original committees
No.
when we set them up. We just asked who wanted to be on them. So
So is that enough for the finance? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
5. And then you need one more. You need one on planning. You've got 6. Off the top of my head, 6 people on planning, but it's always nice to have it. Do you need any more?
Well, if no one else wants to, particularly, because I always come to planning and sit there,
So if you'd like to.
so I don't mind doing it. If no, but if someone else would prefer, like to do it,
Already on it.
yeah.
So we can have 6, can we? And we're currently on 4 or 5?
Planning, we have to replace Mike because
Okay.
he's 6 months.
So we're on 5.
we got at the moment?
We've got 5.
Got it.
So it's me, Sean, Gordon.
Gordon's not really on it. He's ex officio.
What does that mean?
I think actually I might be on planning, but I'm not on F&O. Is that right?
you're not on F&O.
I can't
I
remember.
think you're on planning, but you're not.
Is it? Yeah.
Oh, hold
So
on,
that's
hold on.
us 3, and then
Oh,
Martin,
yeah.
and then Mike was on it. Was there anybody else? Alan.
Alan, he dropped out, didn't he? That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So
Alan did
6, so
drop
we
out.
can have 2 more. We're
So
on
planning-
4, so we do need
Planning is Sean, Gordon, Mike, Alan,
No longer.
Deborah, Martin and Tim. Finance is Sean, Charlotte, Martin and Linda. Now
And now.
Cheryl. And personnel is Mike, Martin, Linda and Deborah.
And it was Gemma, and obviously Mike stood down.
Okay, so we need 2 for planning, yeah?
No, that was
one plan.
one for
plan-
each.
One for each.
So we've done that.
We've got that covered.
So
So it's the staffing.
Sorry,
So staffing. Is
You're
the-
already staffing.
I'm on
Sorry,
staffing,
I
yeah.
missed who was the seconder for Linda.
I'll
Oh,
second.
Cheryl said.
No, that's first.
I'll
Martin.
second. Yeah.
I'm in favour of that.
And staffing.
I'd like to propose Cheryl again, if she's happy to do it.
For staffing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can second that if you like.
Brilliant.
You happy?
More of
We're talking to Baines at the moment about anyone that is on the planning committee. We're talking to Baines. Baines are looking to provide some planning training for anyone that wants it.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay. I'll let you know the details. So you can. We've got a new head of planning.
Oh.
Sandy De Beers retired.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we've got a new.
Who is it?
Well, I'm waiting to find out if he's a caretaker position at the moment, but we're hoping to confirm.
Right.
Oh, if he's good at keeping clean, he can come and do my house.
I will.
Right, and so that's all fine. Right, happy with item 5?
Yeah.
Good. Right, item 6 is a proposal for the Town Council to appoint members of the Town Trust. So this seems a little bit... we did have our Town Trust meeting
Yeah.
and
And as a sole trustee, the council needs to appoint.
needs to appoint it. Which does, I mean, it's been a lot of time for it, but it does make me think, in the current situation, does that not mean, I'm not 100% sure that's right, does that not mean the Town Trust has to then get everything it does then ratified by council, which seems in terrible duplication?
No, I think once it's appointed its managing committee, crack on.
Crack on, right, that's fine. That's great. Well, I
So I'll propose the two of you.
No, just can be resolved.
resolved.
Okay, well, that's fine then.
Super.
There's only
Yeah.
certain very minor items you need to.
Great.
Certainly.
So 7, yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Item 6 done. Item 7 is a proposal to apply for grant funding from the Rural Prosperity Fund.
Yeah, so this is you went to the meeting as well, didn't you? Kate went to it before Christmas. We've actually got a meeting with the Baines team tomorrow to talk about how we might go about applying and what sorts of things we might like to apply for. So really, at the moment, we haven't got a proposal. It's just, do we get your approval to go ahead and make these applications for things to try and, if it was to be signage, stuff that you're talking about wanting to do, but can we find another way to fund it? That kind of a thing.
Yeah, brilliant idea.
Absolutely.
From your right side, it sounded quite good.
They sounded
Yeah.
quite amenable to funding potentially going towards the town hall,
There's funding out there, that's for sure.
but we certainly want to apply for it. Yeah. Are we happy with that? Do we have to resolve anything?
It's just
Just to agree.
So what?
Happy with that?
Just resolved it, yeah. That's fine.
We've resolved it.
Yeah.
Good. Well done. Item 8. It's a proposal to apply for the Community Ownership Fund.
Yeah, so this is similar vein. You know how the town hall was originally put as a phase 1 and a phase 2? If we break it into phase 1 Bravo, that means that we could afford to get the roof done separately, like in between the phases. And I've put in an application, like a quick expression of interest about it, and they've come back and said, yes, go ahead and make the full application. It would mean that we would need to match fund 20%, which would be 48,000, which we have in the Public Works Loan Board still that we could use to match fund that. And that would mean that when we got onto phase 2, obviously that would be 250,000 less than it's currently looking. So really it's letting you know that that's what I intend to do, and that the submission deadline is the end of January. Are you happy for me to go ahead with this?
Do you
With this
need
one?
to vote in principle on that now before you've actually secured the funding? Or is it on the case that you secure the funding, we bring it back to council to decide on the additional monies that are required?
No, you just got to say yeah, really.
You've got to resolve to apply for the grant.
Yeah,
Right,
so, yeah. Gosh,
So I'll
yes.
propose that.
Yeah.
No, where you resolved it. It doesn't.
Oh,
Thank you.
missed that bit.
Yeah.
Great to hear.
I might do. I'm still at the beginnings. Okay, thank you.
That's very quick.
Yeah. I've started it, but it's quite lengthy.
That'd be a lovely good news story.
Say again, Tim?
That'd be a lovely good news story.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? But as I've been going through all these grants, there is loads out there, so I'm trying to put to the side all the things that these jobs that you want doing and see if we can match it up. The Soma Centre, for instance.
For the future, isn't it?
Yeah, but also the stuff like you're talking about for the Soma Centre or St Chad's, all these things are quite specific about what they will fund. So hopefully I'll come to you in the coming months with ideas for what we can put in applications for. Okay, I'm sorry.
Right, item 9. Approval of the internal auditor's report.
So this went to the finance committee just for review and any actions, but there aren't many actions to carry out really. And it needs to be really resolved. We've approved. My brain's going, sorry. So my mic's not working. It needs to be approved by full council. So you will have, because you're a large council, you actually get 3 internal audits. They come twice a year and they come at the end of the year. So that's easier for them. They spread it out a bit more. So he came in October. End of October he came.
Do we need a proposal then to approve that?
No, just
Yeah, quite happy with it, actually.
I'm not
It's
happy,
nice.
but I still have concerns. I mean, I think the internal audit report should be a preempt to highlighting issues that will be raised by the external auditors.
that's what he'll pick up on the next. He'll do the governance on the next one.
On the next one, but not on this one.
No, because he was supposed to come, but he had COVID, so this was done online and remotely.
Exactly. So
So
it
he's
does-
hoping to come in, but they do it in bits. So in February he'll come and do the government. He won't do that. Doesn't do all of it in one go. He does bits throughout
It
the
does
year.
say first interim, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then February will be the governance.
do we know when we're going to? Have we got any idea when we're going to see the external auditors?
I
report?
chased again today.
Yeah.
I would have actually expected to have heard by now. I think that they've forgotten, and it's got a sideline somewhere. So I have chased
Okay.
it today.
I'd say it's great to have staff then that can act on the recommendations as and when these come in, which is a real positive. Previous years when we haven't necessarily had confidence and took over in that position.
So, just a couple of points then. There are a couple of comments in the report to do with risk management and to do with cyber cover.
The risk management is on my radar. I wanted to get the budget out of the way done first, so that will be the next major thing to do, all the risk assessments. The asset register is online. Well, it's not online, it's on Realtus. That will be taken to the February F&O because there's quite a lot on the asset list that you don't have anymore and you need to formally dispose of the items. So the asset list is done.
Work in progress with those.
It's work in progress. So the physical asset check we've done it really.
Yeah, okay.
And we're still going through it. Risk assessments, as I said, are on my radar, but I wanted to get the budget done first. And the cyber insurance will be on when we talk to the insurance companies within the next month. So it's
Okay. And on the cyber, obviously one thing is to have the cyber insurance, the other is to have the cyber protection against attack. Are we pursuing that to protect our...
So as part of the website tenders, some of them have come back with pretty tight cyber security stuff. So I'm going to plan a Strat communications working group meeting to go through those website tenders, and
Okay.
hopefully we'll be able to report back to you. You're not on that, are you? No.
No.
The website, I wouldn't imagine, is your potential vulnerability for a cyber attack. The website is externally hosted and holds no third-party information, so it's really quite expendable. It's more like
What is the risk?
it's the Microsoft cloud effectively stole all our confidential information, and that is your risk point.
How much have we got from the information?
Dunno.
able to move because I'm having a big screen up so you can see it.
Anyway, that's what you would probably want to look at.
Your supplier, SoVision, is actually Cyber Essentials assured, so it's got all the cyber security.
Right.
And it's therefore would be against their
This is
insurance that you
insurance policy,
claim.
isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
I think we trust and empower our staff to make decisions on that, bring it to us as that's appropriate based on these external and internal assessments.
One of the things to consider is that this cyber insurance that the council would take out is about if you're using your personal computers, tablets, phones to do town council business and to save town council documents and everything, then actually you potentially need the insurance for that. And the other thing is that perhaps you can de-risk that as part of the risk assessment that Kate's going to do. And going forwards, you might want to consider getting council tablets, a bit like Baines have tablets, so that if you've got council tablets that are managed and operated by someone like SoVision or any other computer supplier, then you are then de-risking, which would go down better with the insurance companies.
Maybe. Does sound quite expensive.
£199 for a tablet.
All worth considering on the line.
Maybe. That's not
So
bad.
there's
Plus
11 of us, so
Plus £6
£200.
quid a month.
I mean, the secret is everyone should try and use the cloud to store your documents and not your computers, and then the cloud will look after everything. So that's just the way it is. Right.
I'm just gonna
All right. Should we have a quick adjournment?
Oh,
How long? Right.
Approve the audit.
Do we have to? Yeah. Do we need to?
Approve it.
We have to approve it. So do we need a proposal?
That's fine.
I'll propose.
I'll second it.
And I'll vote for it. If necessary, I'll vote for it. We're all in favour of that. A show of hands, just to show everyone's paying attention. Thank you. Right. Item 10. Can I have a proposer for the budget? Any proposers?
Yeah, I'll propose.
Any seconders? All in favour?
Sorry, I didn't ask. Sorry, what were you proposing?
Item 10, to approve the budget.
That's why Kate's sat over there.
I thought I would just shortcut it by getting a proposal. I was kidding, so. At least we've got it in the bag in case we all fall out and such things. So.
Oh yeah.
It's gone up quite considerably since
The
yesterday.
budget has changed slightly. It's changed to the finance committee. Well, doubled up all right, anyway. It was taken to the finance meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I would say 80–90% of the items were agreed. So when it's got a yes for why it means that the finance committee were happy with that figure. So I'm just going to sort of scoot down. And not talk about those. The water rates, 300 for the Hollies, 300 for the Lockmans. Following the discussion, it didn't sort of sit right with me because I was expecting it more, but I did some investigation and those figures are about right. We had a water leak at the Hollies, which has now been fixed, so hopefully, fingers crossed, the water rate should be less than that. The 10,000, this is new, it's only actually came in this afternoon because we double checked some figures. I had actually only put £1,200 in there, but again, this is a question that we don't really know, because this is rent on the town council using the town hall, so it will be charged by the community. That's right. So, as I said, the last time the town council used offices, the monthly rate was $630 a month. I didn't put that in, which equates to just short of $8,000 a year. And then whenever they hired a room for meeting rooms, it was £10 an hour. So I'm just stuck in an extra because you're going to have meetings. So I just put.
And the rates will probably go up.
Do you want feedback from us, or do you want to say nothing? Or
Well, I'm just going to scoot through the ones that we're discussing, and then you can go back. So there's the 10,000 one, and that's
It'll be
written
worth
down.
discussing it now.
The insurance, I'm actually going to recommend keeping it 14,000 because that's what it cost you this year. When I talked to insurance companies in a month or so, I'm going to try and get it down. Pension deficit was 9.5. There's a different explanation there. 775 a month. We pay more because we pay monthly, not annually. It may go up because we're still trying to get hold of the pension company to actually clarify the figures that they've been away, so we haven't done it. Notice board is 4,000, that's up for discussion. So I'm speaking. The van allowance 5,000 is up for discussion. 13,000 is consultants and legal fees. You will need some legal fees because you've got transfers to the town hall, you've got all various bits being transferred all over the place, so there will be, what's happened there? I don't know, go away. You will need some legal fees. Grants, although I've got 20,000, we've got a yes by it, it's up for negotiation. Christmas parties, we took out, or the finance took out, children's parties, and they're just going to budget 1,500 to do an OAP party next December. Christmas lights, this is all completely in red. We had 5,000 in there. Katie and I attended a meeting last week, and I think I emailed everybody out. We now have to fully fund the Christmas lights. We've had no chance to go out because obviously we were told 4 days ago. So we have. And so that was the cost last year was 8,608. It doesn't include delivery, power storage or electricity costs. So as I say, I haven't had a chance to go out. We may, as a consortium, go out to with Keynsham and Radstock and the three of us. Westfield do their own naming contract, and there is a fourth of us. We may work as a group and have one supplier in, but we have 4 days. I can't do that in 4 days, so I'll just have to put a figure in. Youth provision, this is 10,000, that's up for discussion. And then the big one, the 50,000. So those are the ones that were up for discussion. At the moment, you're looking at 19%. which is an increase, that's your rounding. But, so no, so back to the budget. Take it back to the top. So I'm just going to go through. So 10,000 central services. When why in there? Fine. Insurance, keep it
Well, you've
40.
got to do
I think
that.
I'll do that.
Look at that. Pension deficit. I'm going to put 9.5, but we may go over. You all happy with that?
As long as you've got contingency.
Yeah, there will be pension reserves. Notice boards.
When you say notice boards, is it
Where's it gone?
specifically that, or is it money for
Community.
community communication projects or whatever?
This was brought to the council a couple of months ago, 4,000, but then again, we may, some of this funding we're going for, we may be able to get it, so we take it out to try and get grant funding, or you leave it in your budget.
Right.
If it's for buying new notice boards for new places, then arguably that's capital. If it's for maintaining existing notice boards, then arguably that's revenue. So if you're going to be buying new notice boards for new areas, then arguably that could be drawn down from earmark reserves, either from SIL or
There
from
aren't any
potential.
reserves.
What do you mean there aren't any earmark reserves?
There aren't any reserves.
So no SIL
You
money?
have no SIL money at all.
There's still money, but the earmark reserves that you did have last year were actually 2 years old. At the moment there aren't many earmark reserves, and at the end of the year I will do it for next year. The earmark reserves that are advertised are not there.
Does anybody want to object to that £4,000 figure, or should we move on?
I don't want to object to it because I was
Okay.
proposed it because
But that's
it was
fine.
wanted by the public.
Well-
I think they wanted something kind of visual out there, you know.
Even if it's in the
Well,
budget, it doesn't mean, you know, if I can find the funding for it
Yeah,
somewhere
we can
else, it
find
doesn't
the
mean we
money
have to
for
spend
it.
the money.
Yeah.
Okay, then we can move on, thank you.
Okay, van allowance 5,000. Because it has been in and out of the garage, it's had 4 trips within the year, well it's not in the year's up yet, and the one was the one back in February. There is currently a fault with it, so I put 5,000.
It would be very interesting with the van to actually find out what the cost of ownership's been in the year, because obviously we did look as a council into leasing it about a year ago, and obviously we worked out that would cost a certain amount a year, which was quite extortionate for the lease. And the calculation at the time was, if we got, I think, 2 years out of the van and it was scrapped, we would have been better off. And it's important to make that calculation, because otherwise, if there's a cheaper option, we'd take it. But fingers crossed, it looks so far that as long as it's functional, it's saved us quite a considerable amount of money. Hopefully.
Biggest expenditure we have was tyres,
Yeah.
punctures.
Well, as Katie said on the previous one, it's in there, you don't necessarily have to
No,
spend it.
but it's good to kind of keep an eye on it, because
I like on the side of
Yeah,
it.
and like if you're looking at figures, like, you know, these days, maybe £1,500, £2,000 a year for maintenance and that stuff, but excluding anything else, you're doing right £100 a month, and then if there's like a residual kind of
totally.
amount that can go towards a new replacement plan every couple of years, it's a risk, but
There's quite a number of reasons why the vast majority of companies don't own their own vehicles
Mm.
and lease. There's
Yeah.
a number of financial reasons, and
Well, we can
but
look
it's
at
not
it.
something we can look at now. But I think
No.
if that budget has that provision of 5,000, it gives us a bit of scope to review it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Legal and consultancy fees.
Well,
can you
say
just
no
explain
to that,
possibly
sorry.
for 0 to 5 removed, so the two.
But you've got 4055 legal fees, and then you've got 4059 legal and professional fees.
I just consolidated 2 line numbers and made them into one.
Okay, what was so the combined budget for both of those last year was
Yeah.
£200?
No,
Okay,
legal fees, you didn't have a budget last year.
right.
Yes, you did. It was about 700, but you've already spent 500. But you will need some legal fees because you've got various leases that need scheduled with various
Sure.
Yeah.
costs.
And also you wanted a consultant to do the business consultation for the community trust. So I've got a meeting with one of the consultants tomorrow. So you,
Legal fees are about £300-400 an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. You get any round.
Sorry,
Leading back to
consultant for the community trust.
Yeah, in a meeting in November, I think, it was decided to get a business plan written for the community trust so that they could move forwards with
So-
their...
I thought that's what we'd already done, was it? But
That
it
was the
needs
town-
amending, it
town
needs
hall,
reviewing.
Town hall, that's the town hall business plan. This was for the community trust as an entity.
Okay, and the town trust not paying for their own consultation.
Town community trust.
Community trust, they're not paying for their own.
It was decided in full council for the
So we pay them to hire our own hall, and then we pay also for their consultations. It doesn't seem. If they're their own financial entity, which is what we're saying by us renting the town hall off of them, then perhaps they should be paying for their own consultations. But anyway,
Perhaps, but that is what was
I think
decided.
It's fine.
That was decided. So we've got that. We've obviously got the town hall business plan that we've had. There's a, you know, going forwards, if we're going to have a consultant to help with the grant fundraising for the 2 million for the phase 2. You know, there's all sorts of...
That's in a separate 25,000, isn't it, in the staff budget?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
but
mean,
you
I
can
would
see
just.
it goes quickly.
Oh, absolutely. No, I've got no problem with the numbers.
Yeah.
And we need to look more carefully once where we go with those numbers when we move into the new financial year.
Also, at the end of this financial year, because I will only be with you for 6 months, I will have a bit more knowledge and in-depth.
It's a strange year, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
we're burning in, new stuff
Are
burning
you
in.
happy with that figure?
Yeah.
Yeah. 20,000, 10,000 each allocation we've got.
Yeah.
Christmas parties, 1,500. Christmas lights, this is the big one. I originally had 5 in there because it cost us 3.5. As I said, Baines have now said we need to fully fund it.
Well, we don't have a lot of choice really, do we?
No,
There's no government
you've got to do it.
The feedback and success of the events
So-
and the kind of environment this year, Christmas and
You know,
having
so I had a full day,
experiences,
we've had a full
so-
day's notice.
Hey, welcome on.
It's just the amounts of these things because we're moving up from a what was it, 15%? I know it's figures of things, but we're moving it from 15.9% there to a 19.3% rise in our precept. And for me, and I haven't got the experience or the expertise to say whether that amount of legal fees on that thing, but they do seem like we're on a generous side, and it's pushing the amount up quite a lot. And so if people agree with that, that's fine. But we are increasing all these amounts.
Yeah. Can I just seek some clarification, please?
Mm.
So a budget went to Finance Committee, and Finance Committee then discussed it, and then that budget was then forwarded to us last week in the papers. So I've looked at that budget, and that's the one that I've considered and discussed. So can I just ask for clarification? What are the changes being made tonight from the budget that we've been circulated a week ago?
The
Christmas
Christmas
lights, it
lights.
suggests, is one of them, yes?
There was
Yeah.
only 2, the Christmas lights and the rent of 10,000. That's the only 2 that changed.
So we've got an extra 7k on the Christmas lights because we had 5k, it's now moved up to...
Well,
Yeah.
I could put 10,
12.
11.
No, I'm just clarifying
Yeah.
because I'm looking at how much extra has been added in, because then we can either decide, yes, we're going to go with the extra, and that means we'll do a higher precept, or we could say, well, we still need those things, so where are we going to take the... So if we've got 7k extra on the Christmas lights, and then it's 8,800 on the rent, right? So in total, compared to what Finance Committee put forwards, we're looking at finding an extra 15,800. If we add that on to what Finance Committee have already looked at, then it raises the percentage precept required to 19. If we don't want to raise it because the figures that came out last week were at 14 or 15%, we're going to have to lose that 15,800 from other areas of the budget. So I think ultimately that's the decision that we're looking to make tonight.
With respect,
isn't it?
we've spent the last 3 months fine-tuning these numbers.
Yes.
So I think it's been here, this is the 3rd time it's been to this meeting. It's also been to Finance and Ops 3 times. So I think we're at a point where we fine-tuned these numbers to a point where we know there are no further reductions available, apart from the ones that Kate has highlighted. So if we're going to reduce anything, it'd have to be out of one of those numbers you see that's been highlighted in red. I don't think there is any reductions available.
Well, I think there's one, because I think on the business plan, from my understanding, the rent that's on the business plan we just alluded to earlier on was £4,000.
That's what they pay us.
Who?
Oh no, sorry.
No, that's what Alex was saying, that they were expecting on the figures the community trust to receive from the town council for renting the space. The town council officer to rent the space for 4,000.
No, Martin, I think they pay us, and I think it's 5.
They pay us, well,
Town trust.
they do, they
No,
pay
community
us
trust
5,
pays the town council 5.
4.
the lease.
The
Trust,
late.
so it's not council, it's trust.
No, it's the council. The agreement is the council.
Then we pay them back for the rental of the offices.
Pay them back. We then rent the offices.
Sorry,
Okay,
what
so
was that
the
again
net-
then?
The net.
I want you to write
the
it
net
down.
cost is.
So we get an income. We lease the building to them for 5,000.
Yeah, and then
But
we
then we then pay them rents
Yeah.
of 8,000. So the overall, they make £3,000 profit out of it. That's roughly the.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a very good business model.
No,
It's the one
it's
we've
not.
got at the moment, and that's the one we're.
It's also not a
Yeah,
business model, is it?
absolutely.
Like, that's the whole point. It's not business. It's
They value
community
out the
interest.
staff members being there, so- But can I can't get my head around that, because the building's going to be owned by the town trust.
yeah, but not only when phase 2 is completed.
That's right, it's
It's
not
not gonna be
transferred yet.
transferred.
That's
That's fine, but that will be the case in the future. In the interim period, we're receiving the income as we're custodials of it until we hand it back to the
Yeah.
No. I'm sure that the business plan that Caroline put forward had an income to the community trust of £4,000 a year.
Yeah, but the business plan had lots of issues with it.
All right.
So perhaps that's part of the business plan's going to get reviewed, and a lot of those numbers are going to change. So I don't think we can put any weight on that business plan in terms of determining the numbers.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we can on the rent that the community trust would ask a occupier
So
to
the-
pay.
the-
Yeah,
Can't
but
we?
our figures are coming from what we have previously paid,
Yeah.
and we're putting a bit on top because
But
it's now been refurbished, so the
Because
place
you
is
whizzed through it
nicer.
before. Where is the figure again?
Sorry, Kate will have to.
10,000 there.
Yeah.
Right.
So does that come into play from the 1st of April, or is the building going to be ready on the 1st of April for us to move into? Or
Well, that's another thing.
Well,
if
that's-
if it's going to be 3 or 4 months down the line, surely we can prorate that.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm pretty sure that
But we don't know the
Trust
answer,
won't give
Cheryl.
us a reduction in rents.
Yeah, but they've also
So
got to.
we
No,
have
they
to
need
assume
the
that
money,
numbers
yeah.
that you previously
So that
put in
number on
Yeah,
will
and-
increase.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
line on central services there, the 7,497 is what was paid in 21-22, is it? And then the 5,912 is paid in 22-23.
Because we're no longer in there.
Yeah, and we're not in that on the follow this one, are we? 23-24.
Mm.
But then we're back in, so it'll go up to 10,000.
Why does it still cost 2,400 if it's not been in there?
We pay for Unit 14
Unit 14 don't charge us rent for the offices.
Okay.
They
Right.
only charge us
for the
for
surgeries.
the surgeries and
Central
the
services.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
We're getting the offices for free. I can take that down if you want to say after.
No.
If it's your recommendation, I think
It's
is
just
everyone
why
happy
was
with
it
it?
only 1,250 before then? Why was it
Yeah.
only 1,250 and not similar to those previous 2 years? Why was it so low?
Which year?
Well,
Yeah.
when it was 1,250 on the budget we've been working, and now it's got to 10,000. But those figures have stayed the same. So why wasn't it nearer to 474?
To be honest, I don't know where I must have got that card from.
Right,
We
okay.
had a conversation with Alex.
So I just wondered. I mean, it seems 10,000 seems more in line with what we paid in the
Yeah,
2 years we're in there.
yeah. I
But we
I
hadn't
think it was an
been
error.
asked to
Martin.
budget that, right?
It was
That's
an error.
fine.
That's one check.
So if you want to take that.
I think unless anyone wants to put their hand up, are we happy with that? Right? Yeah. So if you want to object, say. But otherwise, we'll move on because otherwise, yeah, that's fine. Final agreement.
The next one was the lights was 12,000. You happen to lights.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, does that
Well-
require some discussion? Because that's quite a big decision. We're not been party to the papers from Baines. I don't know. It's one that's just been
But
kind
the
of
thing
parachuted in rather quickly. So
Yeah, I agree.
it's a
with
lot of
you.
money.
But the Baines budget hasn't yet been decided, so we were told on back end of last week that this was the case, that Baines were no longer going to be subsidising the outlying towns' lights. So Peasdown and Westfield do something different, but Radstock and Keynsham are in the same situation as we are. 12,000 is a bit of a guess, but an educated one. Whether or not we can get a better deal is to be seen.
And also, the Baines haven't agreed their budget, so the gentleman, the lady and the gentleman said they did this 3 years ago and it stayed in the budget. But at the moment they're proposing taking it out until Baines actually approve their budget in February.
This is an increase of £2,000.
No.
No.
Did you see the press release which I forwarded to everyone, where Baines said they'd signed a multi-year deal for light provision, but we're only 1 or 2 years into it?
I mean, this is one of the problems you have with Baines budgets. I mean, last year's budget was just before an election. I would say that had some bearing on some of the decisions made in last year's budget. This year is a long way away from the next election, and I think that reflects the way the budget is this year. I mean, we don't know what the final result is, but we don't have the option to wait. We have to budget for what we have in front of us now, unfortunately. And at the moment, they're saying they're not paying for prison.
I think we need to put it in.
We've
Sorry,
got to do it.
Okay, what was the, how much was it a week extra, did you say, on the leaflet?
At the moment,
40p, 50p?
At the moment, you're looking at 56p.
56 pence a week, and that's as it stands with these amendments, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you knock those off, that's hardly going to make any difference now, 56 pence.
It's 7p, isn't it? Because I think we
I
last
don't-
week it was about 49 or
Yeah,
50,
Okay, I
wasn't it?
think that it's, people want to celebrate Christmas, they love the lights, we need to err on the side of caution. It's a no-brainer.
But we do need to realise how much Christmas is costing, don't we?
Yeah.
If we're, 6.5 for the event,
Event itself.
5,000 for the tree, 12,000 for the lights.
16, 17, 17.
Have you got the 1,500 for the old APs?
You're paying about 25,000 for Christmas at the moment.
Personally, I'm quite happy to cancel Christmas.
I know.
6,000.
Yeah.
And that's largely through the goodwill of the Community Trust that effectively runs the event for free, which
Yes.
is a massive effort, isn't it? Yeah.
Anyway,
The
Nobody's
staff,
doing anything for free.
Oh, no, they are.
Everyone's getting paid.
well, the
Did you
staff
get
are.
Did you get paid much more?
No, so you got paid good?
I didn't get paid. No, I think you'll find the Community Trust didn't do anything. It's just all volunteer work. So it's a big event for
It does sound a lot,
6,500.
I would say, when you add it all up. But I don't see where, with the information we have available us today, I don't know where we can cut it.
No, sometimes it's just understanding.
It's
Christmas-
just
We've got the town hall one coming up, which is big, and that's up for debate, isn't it? So
Can we all say that we're happy up until now?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Let's move on.
there's 2 more items.
I've actually done that.
We need 2 more items.
Did that right at the beginning.
This is 10,000 for the youth provision. Whether you set up a youth club, or then I think there was talk at the finance meeting to giving it to Youth Connect for them to put an extra 90 in.
but that is that was the proposal to, and we have, I did, Christmas was time, but I did ask Sam at Youth Connect, and he's sent some further details about it, and he thinks he can run it for the £10,000, and can show you the letter, but it's a little bit, his breakdown of things with volunteers and his experiences done before.
Surely that's not something we should be considering here. I mean, do we want to put an extra 10,000 into youth provision? We can then sort out at a later date how that 10,000 is spent.
yeah.
I think that's right.
There appear to be, certainly from...
The public consultation undertaken by my good self managed to get, was it 99% of people in favour. Sorry, Cheryl. I didn't mean to
Had you
speak over
finished? I was trying to let you finish.
you. Sorry, Cheryl.
Exercise it entirely. I agree entirely that we need to have something provisioned to act on. Otherwise, it's just empty words with no plan.
Even if as Martin said, they want that, there's in the talk, they still have to come and ask for that 10,000.
Yeah. All I wanted to say is that it can be done.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sorry, Cheryl. Did I interrupt you? Do you want to? Sorry. Beg your pardon.
I'm just saying that we're setting a budget, we're just deciding on that this amount of money is going to be apportioned to this service. we shouldn't be actually deciding who's going to get
Sure.
the contract or who's going to actually provide that at this point in time. That's to come back.
It's good that we've got confidence in our delivery partners in this area.
Well, I mean, also you could argue, well, why don't we go and consult some of the young people and see what it is they want first
Yeah.
before we actually go out, you know.
But you need some money for it.
But we got some money in there.
So you're happy with that 10,000?
Yes.
Yes.
The last one is the White Elephant, start up from the town hall.
Can you give us some commentary on that to just bring us up to kind of date on?
Well, this thing has always been in that ever since I presented the budget. But so within the town hall, when you get the keys back, when you got the keys back, in your budget, there is nothing for what I call start-up. There are some chairs, there are some tables. There's a new bar which we need kitting out. I don't know, actually, until we get in there, we don't know what you're going to need, but you're going to need something.
We're going to need notice boards. We're going to need key locks. There's just it's hard to list exactly the things that we're going to need, especially when the place is still a building site, because it's hard to see to visualise what it is that's going to be required.
So I have plucked that figure out of the air because I have no idea.
Cheryl?
Plus, plus the opening events. We need to think about how we're going to open this place and who we're going to invite and what we're going to do.
Aren't the community trusts going to have to do that because they're going to be the leaseholder? So when you talk about the Royal We, isn't it the community trust? Because they used to run the building, didn't they? And they
We haven't
managed all
told
the
them
stuff
that that's
in
what
it.
they're doing, have we?
You have told them.
First of all, we haven't been able to establish any numbers from either of the trusts to demonstrate that they're financially able to manage this new town hall. We have no figures to understand what the utility costs of the town hall
Okay,
will
well, they
be.
managed before.
Well, utilities have trebled or quadrupled since they last opened.
Okay.
So we don't know what the utility costs are going to be. The community trust haven't provided any data to show that they're financially stable enough to be able to take on this project with all its potential additional costs of staffing and utilities and opening costs and decorating and new equipment, etc.
Okay, it's a good point well made, Cheryl.
So the 50,000 that was put in originally before Finance Committee, I put a separate budget in. The 50,000 included 20,000 for personnel. And when I submitted an alternative budget to Finance Committee, I took that down to 30,000. But at Finance Committee, obviously, Finance Committee decided to move it back up to 50,000. And it was in response to the fact that when this was last discussed at full council, you all said, quite rightly, Sean pointed out, we need some contingency, we haven't got complete transparency and confidence in the business plans and everything, and we need to understand where those are going. And we didn't have time to sort all of that out before we had to set the budget. So there does need to be a contingency in there, but the clarification I want to seek is, does that 50,000 now, have you put back in for a member of staff or a person or a consultant or whatever? Because there was originally 20,000 in there for staff.
There's 25,000 we added to the salaries for staff.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Up there.
So it's no longer that 50,000.
And the other context to this is that does that become a big figure and another thing that commentarily we could be beaten with because it's a big number. Does it need to be that much? And the other thing is that the breakdown of that is how much is the town council going to be spending for itself. So like roughly set up the offices within that to move the offices and the cost of that.
So the assembly room, the upstairs needs decorating.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the town. What we're just clarifying is that's the town council's responsibility over and above the contracted tenant works.
Yeah.
Which we're obviously
Because the
separately
assembly
talking about.
room is part of
And then-
phase two.
And that's the idea is for then that to be handed over as a complete package that isn't actually completed by the tender, the contracted tender.
No, because the assembly room is part of phase two.
Okay.
So that.
So it needs a refresh.
Yes,
So it's
100%.
a separate- okay.
It needs.
Martin.
That narrative needs to be communicated really clearly because it's a big figure and we could almost break it down into 3 cost centres.
We could.
And
But
it
again,
would
we
look,
don't know.
it would look a bit
Mark,
more
right.
palatable and it is relevant. The other question I've just finished because I was the last thing I want to say is whether or not that's an intended continual investment or drawdown as a precept or we have it 1 year and it's still reduced. Again, this is very important to include in our commentary to make a decision on it because I don't personally like the idea of putting 50 grand on there, which is a 10% lump on top of 500 grand, roughly speaking. just to be able to break it down, to be able to say it's a one-off year because of the grand opening. Because it's a good product. What that becomes then is less of a thing that something can be commented and say, well, what did you spend what's the 50 grand for? That's happened, it's 20% increase. And then what it becomes is we have a great plan to launch an amazing asset back into the community.
What I'm hoping is there is, at the moment, there is some money left in the public works loan, spare. But as with my RFO hat on, I'm not allocating that to the budget until the final costs are coming from the town hall.
Can I come in then?
There may be some left, but at the moment I'm putting it all on the refurbishment, and if there's some left, then
So can I come in, right? So what we've got is a difference of opinion about what money is needed to have to complete the town hall ready to be used and to get it up and moving. Difference of opinion between different people. Talking to Alex and Nicola, project manager, they think that the money in the public works loan would cover any small amount of money that's needed for refurbishment. According to them, we've got brand new chairs, I think, that haven't been used yet. There's plenty of furniture in there. There may be some minimal crockery and things that are needed, and painting and things, but they're only thinking of a few £1,000s for that, and that can be done from the public works loan. Nicola's confident there's plenty. There's going to be plenty left in there. I'm not going to necessarily argue against the £50,000 because, as a member of the community trust and the management committee, if the council decides to give to use that £50,000 to help the trust to help get the town hall refurbished and to put events on and to do all the sorts of fabric into the building, then with my community trust hat on, gladly accept the £50,000 as a town councillor. Like Tim's saying, unless we can sort of justify it, it seems a lot of money with a sort of covering a vague thing, which some people are telling me we don't really need. If we use that money and we put in one thing we might need for it is put an event on, because if we put in some events on to open the town hall, maybe at the same time we'd be opening the Soma Centre or taking full ownership of the Soma Centre, we might need some money for that. And I don't know where the community trust would necessarily get that money from. So if the town council saying, well, here's, like I did for Christmas, here's £10,000 and to put a town event on that welcomes people to the town hall and lets people know the Soma Centre's here now under ownership, then that would be a way of doing it. But from what I've heard from certain people, is we don't need that amount of money to get the town hall ready to be opened. The money can come from somewhere else if we do. So, as part of the community trust, great. Give give £50,000 so the town hall can be opened and we can get it running. But as a town council, I don't think we need that.
Sorry, Martin, but you will need a figure in there because for the next 2 to 3 years, 4 years, until you hand it back to the community, you need something for the utilities. The town council will be paying for the utility costs.
Yeah.
So you do need something.
No, I think we could put some money in there, but you don't need it can be half that.
Okay. Does anyone want to? I was going to say, does anyone want to come in before? Does anyone want to come in before Tim? Because I want everyone to have a shot.
I'd just like to say something.
Go on, Martin.
I get where you're coming from, Martin, and what Nicola and that are saying, but having worked on business premises and had a budget to do the finishing touches and things like that, I think you'll be surprised at how quickly any figure you put up there will go down.
But the amount that is available to spend getting it finished is in excess of that.
We've got about 200,000 of public works loan, which is likely to be unspent.
I know you had a meeting with Nicola last week.
Yeah.
I'd actually been through the figures over Christmas. Nicola and David got their figures wrong.
All right.
I had a meeting with them on Friday. She's agreed with me. As I said, there's about 100,000 left in the works.
Okay, that's quite a lot.
I don't want to allocate that to anything until we had the very final figure.
Okay. Tim, you've had your hand up for ages. One go.
It's just like to review that. Our concerns are that this might be the wrong figure. That it might be the fact that we need to be able to stand up and clarify that. Because if I walk out there in a week's time, I'm still going to be a bit like, I can't remember what that 50 grand is allocated on. Can we create budget lines that come under town hall opening, refurbishment, or just to break it down, 3 things: 10 grand, 20 grand, 20 grand, just to split it off so that it becomes clearer, rather than just being MSN town hall, because it just gets lumped in there otherwise with, you know, everything else is being spent, just for clarity.
And what was the 3 grand?
Whatever they were.
Yeah, break the £50,000 down
The
into.
problem is that it's listed under capital project town hall.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at, we could have town hall contingency, we could have summer centre contingency,
Yes.
and we could have other project
Events
contingency
as
And that
well.
becomes then-
or additional events.
If we want to
That
open
becomes
these two,
incredibly
yeah.
easy to
And
do.
I-
You're
and I
just
think
masking
that's-
it. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
no,
like
it's-
you don't know what any of those numbers are.
And we
We
don't
don't know.
know what we're going to
We have a
want.
contingency. We're taking over the solar centre, which will also potentially have some costs for us. Certainly in terms of utility costs and management costs. So we don't honestly know, which is why we're keeping it open. There's a £50,000 contingency there to cope with the utilities, with the staff costs, for both, not just for the town centre, but for the solar centre, to pigeonhole those without having any data to back that up. You can do it. The amount's still the same. I mean, if it makes you feel better on how you present it to the public, pigeonhole it, but it doesn't actually change the outcome or the overall amount. We're just playing around with numbers there. The overall, the question is, do we want £50,000 in there as a contingency or not?
Minimum, I think.
Yes,
Yes.
you
We
do.
do.
So
Definitely.
that's, you know, Sean, I appreciate the kind of very aggressive kind of stance to keep that as 50 grand, point it out like that, but
I'm going to say, I'm going to say that I think we're actually all in favour of the 50,000, and it has been through quite a few meetings, and it's lasted. So, unless someone desperately wants to object now, I think we'll move on from the 50,000. It was in fact the $50,000 question.
So to propose a budget.
Right. So now can we have a proposal for the budget? And seconder. And everybody in favour of the budget, please. Thank you. Well done, everyone.
Sorry, who proposed and second? Cheryl proposed and Linda seconded.
Well done. You know what I will say, it is a bold budget, so well done for the people for giving us the confidence to go with it.
558,734. And what percentage increase is that again, Kate? 19.34. And your band B figure, 56
We
million.
do, but we have a special dispensation. We do. Yeah.
Even if it's a
It should be listed, shouldn't it? It should be listed in our risk or in our thing we take.
That's actually the first, our new council and new staff's first budget.
Well done.
Agree the precept, right?
Right. So the precepts are relatively simple calculation. Nice to see you, Wendy. Thank you for coming.
Take care, Wendy.
I wasn't sure if you'd noted that.
No, we didn't need to. This was old.
Item 11. So item 11 is a proposal to approve the precept. So do we have the figure that we have to approve?
558,734.
Okay, can I have a proposer for that?
You don't need to resolve it.
Do you not?
No.
So it says proposal. I always get confused with proposals.
We do have to
We do.
resolve the precept.
Right, okay. Just to be on the safe side, we've got a proposer, seconder. So we've got Cheryl and Tim, and everyone in favour, just so we know that's done correctly.
Oh, thank you. And
Well
thank you,
done,
Kate,
everyone.
because that's been a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yes, well, guys.
Well done.
It's quick, wasn't it? Yeah. It's only sort of 6 meetings or so. It was brilliant. We could have gone on longer. Now,
We've valuable experience.
I was going to say, everybody's been waiting all this time, and poor Wendy was only here really to hear the mayor's announcements, and she's left.
We've only got 5 minutes then. You've not brought your egg timer.
Did anybody get the newsletter? Was that a bit late?
Yes.
Okay. You'll be pleased to know there are over 4 pages packed with mayor's announcements and photographs. Well, you notice it's
I
photo.
thought it was another version of your advent calendar.
You'll notice it was
Or your Facebook page.
photograph heavy and text light, which is the way I like it. I can't think of any other announcements apart from that.
Next one then.
Item 13. To note any reports from the Finance and Ops first, or to receive an update from the chairs of the following committees, and to note the minutes. Finance and Ops.
Comes back in.
I'm here. Hello.
Martin, man of the hour, Finance and Ops.
Cold.
Freezing.
Do you want to start with planning, Sean?
Sorry?
Do you want
Planning.
to just give
Planning? There's nothing to report.
Well done.
It was,
Boom.
Have we done the minutes of the finance ops, please? Yeah.
Yeah, they were sent out.
No, but we discussed them all.
Well, they've just been
They get noted because you approve them at the committee.
just for
So-
information.
Yeah, so what do we need to say about the finance and ops?
Nothing. We've just really been doing budget, haven't we?
You just
Yes.
done the budget.
Yeah. Well, that's it. There was other items, wasn't it, that we discussed and brought?
Was it?
At the finance and ops.
I can't remember.
It's all been budget.
I
It's all
thought
on
the minutes
budget.
were...
They're in. I'll get them up for you.
Yeah.
What are we waiting for?
I'm
Right.
just getting the minutes up.
Why can we not just note the minutes?
Just in case there's anything that needs extra
No, there
special.
wasn't anything that needed any further discussion, was it? It was mainly the...
Was the budget.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be the best thing about next month's meetings. We won't have to discuss the budget so much. Right, if we're happy with item 13, we're going to item 14. So verbal updates from, we'll go through them, Community Alcohol Partnership. Is that still a work in progress?
we're still struggling with coordinating diaries to actually get it off the ground.
It's hard,
It's
isn't
going
it?
to be, it's something that will happen this new year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Town Council Strategy Working Group is, our New Year's resolution is to have a meeting. In person, as opposed to not having a meeting in person. So that is what we resolved to do. High Street Working Party.
Yeah, there'll be a meeting in February.
Right, that's like something to look forward to. The Medium Communications Working Party has produced yet another newsletter. I heard you all muttering, well done. So thanks for that.
Well done.
Yeah. Now, the neighbourhood plan, we're going to say is officially paused right at the moment. Not that it's, but got a couple of things. So I've shared the draft plan, I think it was, with Cheryl, who's got a little bit of experience of neighbourhood plans, to find out if it is worth maybe resolving some of that. And we probably need to work on a way of working, if you like, to push that forward. Cheryl pointed out to me that the individual councillors communicating with Baines is not the way to progress it. We really need to go through the council office if we want to get their help. Is that what you said? So I think that makes a lot of sense. So we will have a meeting about that fairly soon.
Have we got a deadline in terms of that locality grant? I think Kate, you said that we had a deadline.
The small one, the 10 to 40,000 is opened on Monday or today and runs 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
And
16th of Feb. Closes.
16th of Feb, okay. And the big one for the roof is the 24th of January.
The
This
24th
is
of January one
community
is a bit-
ownership.
it's a bit of community
Yeah.
ownership.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking
The
about the
locality.
locality grant.
8th of January until the 16th of Feb.
8th of January to the 16th of Feb.
That's the one, am I right in saying, that has to be spent within the financial
Right.
year?
It has to be spent by the end of March 25.
Oh, March 2025? Okay, beg your pardon, I misunderstood.
But the project has to be sort of ready to go.
So
that
any
that's the
capital
rural,
works-
that's the rural grant, but I thought the locality grant was the one that you can put towards neighbourhood plans.
Yeah.
Locality and other-
Sorry, I got confused.
I
My
get
apologies.
confused as well.
The locality grant that I did send you, I think it was the end of the month.
Right.
And this is off the top of my head, so I may be wrong, and my laptop's over there, so I can't look it up. I think that's the end of the month, but that has only been open for 2 or 3 months, and that was delayed because the
People
government
can spend it.
well, no, the government didn't give them any money. But what they're saying is, try if they don't know when the next lot is going to be released.
So when's the deadline for the local council?
I think it's the end of the month.
End
but
of
I
this
haven't-
month.
But I,
I'm trying to find it in my
Oh,
emails.
it's all right. I know you sent it to us, and I'll check it out.
I don't think
The
it's the end.
intention is to try and get something into locality
Yes.
support, moving the NDP forwards.
Mhm.
So I'll look at that next week and try and put something together.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Right, so
Commission are nice and let me have their old locality. We might go really for something quite similar because
Okay.
that was also for consultancy and stuff.
I can have a look.
So we do need to have for the neighbourhood development plan, like so many things, we do need to have a bit of a face-to-face. I know everybody's busy, but if we're so busy, we'll never get things done, so just let people know. Right, item 15, reports from councillors representing outside bodies. Anyone apart from Martin?
I don't think so, did I?
I don't know, must have done quite a bit with the Community Trust.
No, we haven't had a meeting since the last council.
Well, we've had a management community trust meeting. What did we discuss there? Remember?
I can't remember.
I forgot. Sorry, it was before Christmas. We're having another one next week. Looking at we looked at the calendar, didn't we? And we looked at
So which one was I missed?
that was the management committee of the community trust. I think it's Steve Plummy, Alex, Gordon, and myself. Yeah, I can't remember the detail. That's the specifics we were talking about there, wasn't it? But I think it was the solar centre and it was the assets.
Mm. We have quite a few actual meetings coming up with the community association and with other people involved to start. Because that's right, we had a big meeting to discuss the smooth transfer of management when the community trust take over the summer centre. But we have a plan and we think it's a good one.
We've got a forum meeting coming up in February. So, haven't had one, to be honest.
Sorry to interrupt. The locality grant is up to 10,000 and the deadline is 5 p.m. on the 26th of January.
Right, 26th January. Cool. So that's hang on, that's Burns night. What is
Luckily I'm not Scottish.
yeah. Party's on the 26th.
Does anyone care about birds?
Well, I suppose if you're Scottish.
If you're Scottish.
You like haggis?
Exactly. Item 16.
Yeah.
Is the Parks report. Katie.
Thank you.
Sorry, was that the only report from...
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, thank you.
You'll have seen the report that Jo put together when she and Dave went to the Baines CCTV bank. It's not all doom and gloom. There was talk about getting new CCTV in Bath and the outlying towns receiving their old ones, so that would be an upgrade to the ones that we have at the moment. But with the budget not being decided yet, it's not certain whether or not that's going to go ahead. It'd be good if it is, but we'll keep you posted on that.
Sorry, can I put that in there?
Yeah.
The CCTV, I didn't realise that the cameras had pretty much never worked down at the skate park.
I think a year after they were
10
installed.
years ago, 10 years ago, we had a phone call from one of our son's friends saying there was a chap down there threatening people with a knife, which he was. So, I mean, that was 10 years ago. I had no idea the camera didn't work down there. Anyway,
Well, it's no longer even on the map of the CCTV that they own. If you look at the report, it's not one that they've got listed. So as one of the actions coming from this, Jo is going to write back to them and formally kind of request more information about the cameras that have been out of action, that are out of action, and what the way ahead for them is. And you'll have seen as well that the due to the sodium flare, they can't necessarily always get car registrations either. So on the CCTV, what they can pick up is quite limited. So it's not a great picture, effectively, of Midsummer Norton that's being picked up on cameras.
Can I ask what the CCTV can be used for, if it could capture whatever it captured?
What it can be used for. If you can radio the bank
That's how they capture it, isn't it? So they capture it, then what can be used for?
Well, if you can call the bank as something's happening, they can turn the cameras to capture if it isn't already facing in that direction, then they can rotate the cameras, but they're not fisheye, so they don't have a 360
So say
view.
there is an incident and that has happened,
Yeah.
did it and it captures them, what could that media be used for after that point?
Identification of individuals, but probably not.
It has been used for prosecutions in the past.
Yeah.
It's an ordinary street.
It's just interesting, that's just what I kind of like to know, because we're looking into it, that's good.
But I mean, Joe
It's what
said
it's used for.
Joe said looking at the bank, like bottom left was Midsummer Norton, and it kind of looked like you were transported back to the 80s. Like the tech that we've got here is really not
It's
very high.
probably best if most people don't realise how bad those cameras are.
No, it's good we're looking into it, because then we can actually
Yeah.
improve it then see and if it's useful for anything itself,
Yeah.
because sometimes cameras are just a visual deterrent and signage along those lines, isn't it?
They're not entirely just a visual
The
deterrent.
big problem is we don't have that interface at the moment between what's happening in the town and the CCTV office monitors the bar cameras. So if something's happening, they're watching it and they're moving the cameras around. Over here, they only look at those cameras if they're asked to.
Yes.
Now, they used to be asked to by the street marshals. Street marshals had a radio connection to the CCTV office, so they said, there's an incident going on, can you put the cameras on it?
Yeah.
We don't have that link anymore, so at the moment the cameras are just on a sweep. So we need to get the police to contact the CCTV office, and there's a time delay.
Well, then it's pointless then, isn't
I
it?
just thought so. Luckily, every man and his dog has a phone with a camera on it these
Yeah.
days, so you probably don't need to be
Yeah,
any
what
way.
that can be used for in terms of evidence if there was intended prosecution apart from identification.
You can use it for anything as long as the person that's recording it gives you permission. If it's
Right.
right, isn't it?
We do encourage now, most security officers are encouraged to have body-worn cameras now. Yeah. So,
And surely the most important thing here is not necessarily just the age of the equipment, but it's about who's responsible for the maintenance. Because are they Baines' assets?
Yeah.
Therefore, Baines should be responsible for the maintenance. And if the cameras are down for any length of time because there is no proper maintenance check, then going forwards, that's something that we should be looking into. I only say that because I know that newer cameras have been bought and they haven't been checked for maintenance either. So it's not just Midsummer Norton that has
No.
a problem with cameras being down.
I think this is the first step, isn't it, in us holding Baines to account on what they've got and what they're looking at,
Seems
and
to
us
be
and us being
absolutely off.
an interested stakeholder in all of it. So we've got actions that have fallen out from that. So the next one was an update on the street marshals. So as you'll know, we hired street marshals over the Christmas week. I got feedback from Mallards, who were the ones that originally asked for it, and they acted as the marshal managers. So the marshals clocked in and clocked out and received the key so they get into Unit 14. So that was good, actually, because I had a link with somebody that could kind of tell me how it had all gone on. The report that we requested back from the company basically said nothing had happened apart from there was one spiking incident. Yeah, that's all that they reported. Mallards had a little bit more to say about how it all worked. The fact that they didn't have the radios and couldn't access the CCTV bank was a bit of an issue. We had one venue asking if this was going to continue throughout the year, and I explained that it was only for the Christmas period. Otherwise, I had no communication from any of the pubs, which was a bit disappointing because I kind of hoped that would be a really good news, you know, us supporting local businesses. But that's it. Did anyone else hear anything about it? No.
you can't really draw many conclusions from a 6-day period. What we do know historically is when we've got a good team of street marshals and a good management structure behind them, it's extremely effective. When we haven't, it's not worth the money. So it really just comes down to the management of the scheme that makes it successful or not. But it's over 6 nights, you can't actually draw any real conclusions from that, other than there is an active deterrent.
Yeah. Community Just Business Development, that was just to say, I've already mentioned it, that we've got a meeting, Alex and I, with one of the business consultants tomorrow, and we've had a quote from Caroline Taylor as well. I haven't had anything back, so unfortunately I haven't got 3 to be able to provide, but hopefully with 2 we'll be able to form an opinion on which one we think would be able to do a better job. So I will inform you of that next month. The website one, I've had 5 back. I've discounted 2 on price. So I'd like the communications group to have a meeting and we can have a look through those tenders and come to some conclusions on that.
Ask what were the prices that were discounted? And what's the range of prices that has not been discounted? Just out of interest.
If you haven't made a decision on this, I don't think you should be disclosing that if the tenders haven't closed yet.
Okay.
Certainly not in public.
They were quite wide,
Okay.
and I've gone for the 3 middle ones that we'll be addressing as a strategics
Right.
communications group.
Brilliant, thank you.
As for the pension deficit and rates, Cheryl, you queried this before Christmas, and we've gone back to them. Kate covered some of it. We actually found another error, and that was that we hadn't informed, whether it was us to inform, we're not really sure, because Joe took over doing the pensions along with everything else and hadn't been given any sort of handover. We didn't inform the pensions provider the change in the interest rate. So there's been an error there, which we have rectified. And we're still waiting from...
Pension people.
What's the figure that we're still waiting for?
I know, yeah. So
It's the deficit.
basically, every year
Yeah.
you have to put in a new pensions contribution rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normally it goes up or it might stay the same, so whatever. Because I remember I did that once. For the first 2 months of the year, I'd forgotten to put the pensions increase up, so our pension contributions on the superannuation every month were lower, and
Yeah.
then we had to backtrack it
Yeah.
and do it that way. But that shouldn't affect the pensions deficit.
No.
The pensions deficit is just that actuarial amount that's set in stone for 3 years. That can't change. Anything else, any amendments to the pension would normally go into your superannuation figures along with your salaries. So it's just an accounting thing
Yeah.
as to where it goes in the accounts.
But you were right, there was a mistake, and we are trying to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So I don't have the update that I was hoping to be able to give you. I thought that by today I'd be able to have it, but I don't. But yes.
Okay.
I think that concludes my report.
Thank you, Katie.
I added a correspondence list. Only really, not everybody does it. I do it for my parish councils, and I've just started putting it on. So then, if you're forwarded stuff from community groups, or as you got here, I can then put it as a correspondence list, and then they can see that actually you did it was forwarded, whether you do anything with it. But just to show that we've had it in and we forwarded it, we haven't ignored. So it'll be just a short correspondence list on whether you want me to remove it or not. It's up to you. But
I think it's good because it goes on public record then that actually you have distributed it. So I think it's
that's why I did it for my parish council.
yeah.
So was that item 17?
Mm-hmm.
So could I go on to item 18?
Please do.
Right, item 18, date of next full council meeting. The next full council meeting will be held on Monday the 5th of February. Looking forward to it already. Thank you very much.
We are inviting Caroline Taylor down again to talk through the town hall business plan. So any figures that you'd like to query or any questions that you might have for her, could you have them for February?
Shall we be inviting her to attend before 7?
She has been, yeah.
Right, so like the sort of our kind of pre-council slot.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
It means that she can get away as well.
Yeah, cool.
Chair,
That's fine.
before you close the meeting, could I propose a vote of thanks to the 2 officers for all the work that they've done
yeah,
in
sorry,
terms
yeah.
of
Yeah.
budget
Especially
and all that
Kate.
together.
I'll second that.
And I just, they've come in fairly recently, so to get their heads around what is a very complicated, with the triumvirate and the budget headings and everything, I think they've done superbly well.
Absolutely.
Thank you, well done. I'll second that, well done.
So,
Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And close the meeting. There you go. Well done, yeah. Do you know what? And we're even
And it's not that late. It's going to suit.
25 to 9.
Oh, go home and have a cup of tea.
Can we just go over the spreadsheet one more time?
That's why I knew Alan came late. Oh, Alan, we've got a present for you.
It's there.